Hello and welcome back to a slightly more cheerful episode of the Busby Way Podcast. I'm joined by Chris as per usual. Chris, how are you?
I am good, mate. Glad to be talking about a positive result and a good performance for once.
Well, it makes a change, doesn't it? It really does make a change because we're recording this off the back pretty much, a few hours ago off the back of the Leeds United result. We'll get into that straight away then. We may as well. Let's not waste time because it's very rare that we get to talk about good stuff on this podcast. So let's have a good chat. What did you make of it? I'll just go broad. What did you make of it, Chris? I didn't think either my connection's gone or Chris is gone. Don't know what's happened. I think Chris's camera's gone. So I'll tell you what I thought of it. Chris can tell you when he comes back. And we've lost Chris completely now. So it's just me on this podcast. So I'm just going to go on my own. Yeah, United and Leeds. First time we've played at Ellen Road in front of a crowd since 2004. You could tell from the first minute it was going to be feisty. It was very, very moody inside that stadium. The boos when Ronaldo got the ball were loud. The goal that United needed was the goal from... I can't remember who put it in now. The first one, Maguire from the corner, of course, first corner in 140 corners that we've scored from. That sort of quietened the Leeds fans. And it was a great header, actually. I think, Maguire showed his strength and got up and won the header. I think we've got Chris back here. Sorry, Chris. I was just waffling my way through about Aaron Maguire in the air for my first corner 140 corners.
Oh, difficult to miss it.
Oh, I know. Go on then. What did you make of the game in general?
Yeah, just saying before we came on air, it was really positive. Obviously, beating a rival is always good, but I think the manner of the performance was excellent. The intensity of we've been critical of them not sort of going in for challenges and sort of not having that determination about them. We put some good challenges in. Scott McTominay in particular, but I mean, on another day you'd have got a couple of others to be fair to him. But he was, we were really at it. It looked as though we wanted to win the game. We adapted to the conditions really well and sort of played our game to the conditions. I think that really hampered Leeds. They couldn't play their usual game. We adapted to it. But I thought the vast majority put in really good performances. Pogba, I thought, for an hour was excellent. I know what you're all thinking. I usually come on here and slate him. But yeah, I thought he was really good. He showed what he can do. But I suppose that is sort of the frustration about him. We don't see it often enough. He was really strong, bullish in that midfield, on and off the ball. Sancho was, again, really good. He's finding a consistency to his game as well. Defensively, we were pretty solid. It was a freak goal that got Leeds back into the game. And like I said to you just before we came on air, I think we realistically, we had one bad minute where Rodrigo scores a free goal, and then within a minute it's 2-2. Which, to be fair, I thought the second goal from Leeds was well constructed rather than a bad defensively, really. And I think it was sort of carried by the crowd. The crowd really lifted. We did so well to quite an Ellen Road, with the goals. We scored at good times, especially just before half time. Getting that second goal was really crucial. But I thought in the past, we've seen it before where we've crumbled, having conceded those two goals. I thought, we're going to get beat here. I thought the momentum was with Leeds, but we wrestled it back really well. And credit to Ralf Rangnick. He made a change, bringing Fred and Elanga on for Lingard and Pogba. I thought Elanga for Lingard was obvious. Lingard didn't do much in the game. But as I said, I thought Pogba was really good. So I was surprised that Fred actually came on for him. I thought that he might have tweaked the system and maybe kept Pogba off and, brought either Fernandes, Ronaldo or Sancho off. But he took Pogba off. He saw maybe the midfield needed a bit of a beef up with the way the Leeds were starting to come forward. But then Fred comes on, scores, and was fabulous. I thought he was really good. Used the ball well, got forward on a couple of occasions, got a goal. Obviously we scored from a corner as well. So it all fell into place today. and I think we've now scored 20% of our goals this season against Leeds. So can we play you
Really?
every week? Yeah, we've got 5 and a 4 to make 9 goals.
Mental.
But yeah, 20% of our goals this season have come against Leeds. So yeah, that old adage of can we play you every week? Yeah, let's have a bit of that.
Well, you mentioned there about the goals, and you know, you'd argue that probably that shows a lack of goals across the whole board, really, from United this season. And you know, I've seen, I think it was Carragher came out today and said, you know, about Ronaldo and how it's changed the system. How we got over 120 goals in all competitions last year, and we're now struggling to get them same numbers. Again, we've discussed this off air before we just came on, that Ronaldo didn't have the best of games. He was probably the worst player on the pitch for United. What needs to happen there? Because, you know, everyone says, and he's a game winner. If you keep him on the pitch, he could get a goal no matter how bad he's playing. But you can't sacrifice that one man in the hope that he's going to get a goal all the time. We always look better when we've got Cavani, who's more fluid. We look more fluid when Cavani plays. What do you think needs to happen there, Ronaldo? Do you think it's a confidence thing, or?
Yeah, I think obviously the miss he had, I think it might have been Pogba actually did really well down the left and pulled it back, and Ronaldo misses from a couple of yards out. I think, you know, every other season of his career he scores that goal. It's just the time he's having. I mean, obviously he scored a great goal in midweek against Brighton, but yeah, it is a strange one. I think at the start of the season, obviously there was a shift in the way we were playing compared to last season because of Ronaldo's presence, but he was scoring the goals to justify it and winning those games single-handedly. I just think, you know, we won't be in the Champions League, for example, but for his goals. So we've got to say that. But right now, we're not seeing his justification for trying to tailor the game towards him because he's not scoring the goals. He's not got the output. He's 1 in 7. But at the end of the day, he's still one of the greatest players of all time. So he can do something in a moment. We're saying this. It's quite possible, and you would not. The script is perfect for him to go and score a hat trick in the derby, for example. You know, he's that sort of player that can just do something ridiculous like that. So there is that element of it. But yeah, if it was anybody else, would be saying why is he playing? But the other thing is there somebody in backup in reserve who is, you know, really pushing him to kick him out of the team realistically, because Cavani obviously brings something a bit different with his work rate and his energy, but his goal output is no better, is it? I'm actually racking my brain now to think of the last goal he scored, and I know he missed a sitter against Burnley. It's been a while since he bagged. I know he set up the Rashford goal against West Ham, so he does have a different variation to his game. You know, that is obvious. Rashford, at one point early in his career, we thought he was going to be a centre forward, but then he sort of gravitated out to the right or to the left. Mostly left now, actually, isn't it? There's nobody really pushing for that centre forward position, which I think means you probably got to go Ronaldo on the off chance he's going to do something special, really. Which I think means that in the summer, that's, you know, we've said for a long time centre mid's the position. The way Fred and Pogba played today, keep all of them to playing that way, you know. But there's that age-old conversation about those two. I do think centre forward now is becoming really high on the list because we've got to have somebody who is going to score and suit the style we want to adopt. But it's all, you know, up in the air still about who's the manager is going to be and what style of play they're going to put on. So it's such a complex situation. But I think at the moment, Ronaldo still has to play just because of what he could do rather than what he is doing.
Yeah, and you said there you don't know when the last time Cavani scored. I just had a look then. It was, I think it was the 27th of December in the league against Newcastle.
Yes, actually. Yeah, I remember it now.
His last goal. That was his last goal for United. And then even before then, I think it was a long time before then since he'd scored. He scored then, and then he was injured, and he scored against Spurs in October That was the 2 goals he's had for United this season, so in the Premier League. So, it's not a great showing, really. I mean, for a centre forward who gets a lot of praise for United, and I think really a lot of fans are starting to get a bit fed up with Cavani because of the, his absence. He hasn't been committed, let's say that word. I don't think he's been really committed to United in the last few games. I know he was spotted at the boxing last night in a cap and yet supposedly ill, which was bizarre. But a player who is starting to fire for United, and I think he got his first 2 assists today, and we mentioned him last week on the podcast, say he was getting better, is Sancho. Was he man of the match for you today, do you think?
Certainly up there. I think of the players who played the 90 minutes, yeah, you would say so. I think Pogba would have played the 90. He'd have been man of the match. Probably say with Fred for that sort of period that they played. They were in the conversation for sure. McTominay for his work off the ball would have been up there, but yeah, I think Sancho was justified. He was direct, created a couple of goals, like you said. And his work rate's good as well, which I think, when you play Leeds, your work rate's got to match theirs. They have one of the best work rates in the league. We know that. And I think we matched them in that regards. And I think as well, we didn't know whether this team had the character to work hard. And especially in those conditions, I was really surprised about that side of the game. And I think Sancho was right up there with the best for that. And yeah, I think we're starting to really see Sancho come into his own. Last 5 or 6 games, he's been our best player. He's been an 8 out of 10 every game. Really, for me, he's starting to score goals, starting to create goals. In the past, I've said about Kai Havertz and how long it took him to sort of settle into the Premier League, having come from the Bundesliga. And I said maybe it's the same with Sancho. I think that's proving to be the case, that it's just taking a bit longer to readapt to the way the game's played over here. So fair play to Sancho. He's starting to show what he's about, which is good.
Yeah. And a player I think who today showed a bit of what he was about after coming under question in recent weeks, and I think a lot of people have doubted him. In the first half, he wasn't great, and it was a strange tactical decision to include him. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I thought in the second half he had a bit of a decent showing, and we were saying, is it because of the conditions, with it being wet? He loves a slide tackle.
Yeah.
It's all he does. He seems to throw a slide tackle. Were you impressed with Wan-Bissaka today, and why do you think Ralf Rangnick chose to go with him over Dalot?
Yeah, he was solid. I think with Wan-Bissaka, we know he's a good defender. And it's probably been his attacking elements that's let him down. I mean, at times this season he's not defending brilliantly, like it's positional sense, but one-on-one he's as good as anybody. And I think that is why he was included, because I think we fully expected Rafinha to be playing and trying to take him on. Obviously, Rafinha didn't start, which was a bit of a surprise. And I think that'd have been a reason why he'd have started Wan-Bissaka, because ultimately whoever plays in those wide positions for Leeds are quick and look to take you on. Even Jack Harrison's got that about him. So I think that was probably why he was included. So I think, yeah, that's probably why he got the edge over Dalot. And I think he was justified. I think he had a solid game. I don't think there was a situation where he was out of position this time. Not that I can remember, because it obviously didn't lead to much. So yeah, good solid showing for him, which will do him in confidence wise good, because he'd for just over a season he'd been our right back, and he was under no real pressure, especially the last season. So now that he's got that pressure of Dalot, and Dalot was sort of nudged ahead of him, it's good for Wan-Bissaka to have a good game. And long may it continue, because he is a good fullback. He was improving going forward. Like I said, we know he can defend. He just had a bit of a rocky spell. So hopefully this is a turning point for him this season.
Yeah, I think maybe a reason why he did play today is the midweek fixture, because we've got a big game midweek, Atletico Madrid. We'll talk about that a bit now. I'm worried about this. I'm not gonna lie. This is the first big game we've had under Ralf Rangnick. We haven't played a big team yet, really. This is the first big game we've got, and it's probably all we've got left in our season. How do you fancy your chances against Atletico at their place first time round? Because I think personally, if we can stay within touching distance, we've got a great chance of beating them at Old Trafford. But how do you fancy our chances in midweek in Madrid?
I think I'm more confident having seen what we did today. For one thing, the commitment and sort of the battle readiness, because I think you need that against Atletico. If you're not willing to close down and put your foot in and be aggressive against Atletico, they bully you. Simeone was that type of player, and he wants his team to play that way. So that's a positive sign. And I think they're not brilliant. I might regret this, but they're not pulling up.
Let's not.
Yeah, they're not pulling up any trees in Spain. I don't think anybody is really. I don't think Real Madrid are that great. Q was getting walloped by them. And I think they lost to Levante at home, which I think they were bottom of the league at the time. So whether that's a good thing for us or a bad thing for us, I don't know. It either shows that they're vulnerable, or it shows that they've got now something to respond to. Be interesting. But I agree with you. I think if we're in touching distance, we can do them. I worry that if they have a lead, they'll come into Old Trafford. They have the ability to kill a game. Yeah. With the tactics and the histrionics and I remember the last game sort of before the COVID shutdown, wasn't it, when they went to Anfield and spoiled it for an hour and then nicked a goal and changed it all. But obviously there was away goals then, there isn't now, which changes the complexion a little bit. So yeah, obviously it's a tough game. They have a good side. I don't think they're as good as they used to be, but neither are we. They do have a couple of top players. We know that. Griezmann, for example, top goalkeeper, and can defend and stifle a game. But they're not in a wonderful place right now. And yeah, them, like I said, I don't think they're as strong as they have been in recent years. Liverpool did a number on them a couple of times, really, and scored. I think they won 3-2 away there. Obviously, Liverpool's front three is brilliant, but we have potentially goals in us, like we showed today. So, yeah, tough game, interesting game. I'm intrigued to see how we go. If we can get a positive result there, I would really fancy us to go through. But yeah, I think anything, if we lose, say 2-0, I can see them spoiling the game when it comes to Old Trafford. If it's only 1-0 or within one goal, I can see us getting a goal at home and forcing extra time. So, yeah, we've just got to be within a goal. I think is doable. Anything more, and I don't think you can claw that back against a side like Atletico and how well they can defend.
I tell you what, it absolutely reeks of a last-minute Luis Suarez, doesn't it? I can just see it. I can just see it at Old Trafford.
I forgot he'd gone back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Griezmann and Suarez. They're obviously like the two big dangers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Well, they are the big dangers. And would that change the way that you maybe set up if you were Ralf Rangnick? Probably. If would you almost go a bit more defensive at their place, try and keep it within touching distance?
I think he goes with one of two things. I certainly don't think he opens up the midfield in the way we have done in recent weeks, where we've gone with the one holder. I think he goes with the two. If McTominay and Fred can play, I think they play. Or you go with a 5 at the back. One of the two. I think we can play 5 at the back. Dalot and Shaw are more than capable of playing wing backs and can do it really well. And we've got 3 centre halves. And the beauty, surprised I forgot mentioning it, actually. I thought Lindelof did really well today, stepping out with the ball. If you play a back three with Lindelof in there, he has the ability to do that, as does Maguire. So that's an option. So I think those are the two I would go for. I don't think he'll open up the midfield as much as we have in previous weeks. And I think counter-attack's big. I think that's the best way to hit them. Because at home, the onus is on them to go and win the game as well, which could leave them open. So, yeah, there's a couple of tactical things we could do. But yeah, I would probably go with a 4-2-3-1, Fred McTominay axis, and sort of the usual what we sort of expect of Fernandes. To be fair, I'd probably go Sancho Pogba as the two wider players, Fernandes as the 10, and go Ronaldo up front because his record against Atletico is pretty good. He's scoring Champions League finals against them, and Champions League is his competition at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, like I said earlier, he dragged us through the group stage. He record scorer in it, and he loves it. So hopefully that's something he can use and probably feel as though he's more accustomed to that competition than playing in the league. So I think that's how I'd like to see us go.
Well, at the weekend in the league, we have got Watford at home. Surely this is a must-win game. No, Chris, is it not?
I think it's a must-win for both, really. Yeah, I think we've got to win because I think today as well it was a big result for us with everybody else around us winning. So we've got to keep that going. We're at home against a struggling side, so the onus is on us to go and attack them. But they've got to try and get something from the game themselves because they've got to get points. So it's they won at the weekend as well, playing sort of on a counter attack a bit against Villa. They've got some good players. Ismail Assar and Emmanuel Dennis are two quick lads, with ability as well. I think the pair of them will play Premier League football next season regardless. They could play top 6, top 5 teams for sure. I think both of them would be, outside candidates for being a possible signing for ourselves if we wanted a cheap option. They've both got ability and can score goals. Sar's been linked with Liverpool in the past, for example. They're the two danger men, but you can get at them defensively. I know Roy Hodgson's got them more defensively capable than they were under Ranieri. But by the fact that they're going to be set up to defend and counter attack, that makes them difficult. We've always struggled against sides like that, so we've got to get the first goal and get the second goal before they equalise. More importantly, but obviously we know they absolutely walloped us at their place, which is obviously saw the end of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So we've got to be wary of like I said, their strengths are definitely those two players, Sarr and Dennis. If we can keep them quiet and take our chances, we will win comfortably, and that'll be a good result and an expected one. But we can't do what we have done it. I mean, even today, as good as we were today, we still had that same pattern where we have a really good first half, and then we start the second half by conceding goals and losing the lead. We need to get out of that habit, especially at home. We need to put in another good performance. I thought we were decent against Brighton. Got the win in the end. Good today. Got to keep that going. Go and make it 3 in a row in an important game in the top 4 race.
Yeah, and you said there about they beat Villa this week, and that was the first game they've actually won since they did wallop us. They've out of a total 36 points they could get in the league since that game, they've had 4. Yeah. They drew to
Burnley 0-0.
Yeah, they drew Burnley and beat Villa, and they're the only 4 points they've had from the last 36. So Watford, they're not on the best of form, and then they're not great. So really, this should be a game that you should be winning. Would you set up pretty similar to what you did today, or would you maybe go a bit weaker given what Watford's form was like?
I'd probably go Dallo for Wan-Bissaka, more attacking down from right back. Other than that, I would probably keep it virtually the same system with that sort of three-man midfield. Pogba in there. He should be able to get joy. Again, it's same thing with Pogba. If he fancies it, he can be excellent like he was today. I'd like to think that'll have given confidence. So yeah, I'd set up virtually the same. And then it's whether he goes with Varane to go with Maguire. I think that's generally the discussion, isn't it? And like I said, I think Dallo down the right. He might give Tellez a go down the left. But yeah, I don't think there'll be too many changes from this game to that game. We probably might see a couple more in midweek in terms of like the change of system, I think. But yeah, I think that's what we could possibly see for that game. It all depends on how much he is conscious of, like I say, Sarr and Dennis. If he is really conscious of Emmanuel Dennis down the left in particular, he might go Wan-Bissaka again, and just to give us that bit of security, especially if he's gone for a three-man midfield. If he goes for Fred McTominay, I expect Dallo. If he goes for the three and a bit more open, he might go Wan-Bissaka. But yeah, that's just purely how he wants to play. I think we've got to be on the front foot against a side like Watford at the end of the day. So I'd like to think we'd go for the more attacking fullback.
Yeah, I agree. And then after that, we have got a tough run of games. We've got Atletico and Watford this week. Then after that, we've got City. Then we've got Tottenham, and then we've got Atletico midweek. Then Liverpool at the weekend. Then Leicester after that, and then Everton away. And then then it doesn't stop really, because then we've got Norwich at home, Arsenal away, Brentford at home, Brighton away, Chelsea at home, and Palace away. And that's the season finished. And that's not to mention the potential Champions League games if we do go through against Atletico, who we could get in the next round. We might be talking a bit dreamlandish there, but you never know. There's some tough fixtures left in this league, and if United want top four, they really need to start kicking on. Really.
Yeah, I think these next months big, especially like the City and Spurs games. I think speaking of City Spurs, I think that shows City are not infallible. Spurs, genuinely, I think they should have had 5 goals.
They were good, weren't they? Harry Kane was very good.
Oh, Harry Kane was unplayable. Obviously, the one blot on his copybook was the chance he missed, where he's 1-on-1 with Edison. Good save, and obviously the other goal rightly ruled out for offside. But every time they went forward, they looked like they were getting into City. City don't like counter-attacking teams, for me, who have the quality to counter-attack. Obviously the lesser teams obviously have to counter-attack, but they then don't commit players forward when they do. The thing with Spurs, they committed. They had 3-4 players ready to counter-attack straight away, and in the quality of Kane, Son, and Kulusevski, they had it. We can potentially do something very similar when we come to it. Obviously, we'll have a podcast between now and then anyway to sort of go in more depth about it. But we have the players who can hurt them. It's all about how well you can defend and take your chances. Other than the goals and the chance Kane had and the goal that we chalked off, I don't think Spurs had too many more chances, but they were clinical. And I think that's the key when you play the top side. You've got to be clinical, which we haven't been in recent weeks. And I think that's was one of the main things I was worried about in the last podcast. I mean, we were clinical today, so hopefully that corner's turning. Sometimes you just need one of those days where everything goes in. Today was a bit like that, really. So, yeah, when we come to that game, we'll be interested to see what's happened between now and then, because obviously both will have had another game. I think City might have first City's got Champions League anyway, so they'll just put the kids out for that second leg. But yeah, good few tests to come with Atletico, City, and Spurs in relatively short space of time. So we'll see how that goes. This is now where we find out how much we've improved, if at all, ultimately under Ralf Rangnick. You know, we've had his honeymoon period where we've had a few easier games, a few games that, you know, other teams have struggled against. You know, ultimately we've got to say Southampton with, you know, 2 draws against City along the way, dispatched Everton comfortably at the weekend. So that point actually looks like a half decent result, really. You know, Burnley have picked up, got a good win at the weekend. So again, that point if Burnley go on a good run now, then all of a sudden that point looks better than it did. So, but yeah, these are the ones where we find out if Ralf Rangnick has done something to decide to take us from where we were and why he came in to giving us, you know, things to go, oh, okay, this is good. If we can do that next season on a consistent basis, we can challenge. Because that's ultimately all it is now. He's trying to show what we could be next season while ensuring we get in the top 4. Because like I said, it's the top 4 in the Champions League we're fighting for now. I don't think realistically anybody thinks we're going to win the Champions League.
No.
We might fly under the radar a little bit. We might do what Chelsea did that, you know, when they won it that first time, where they completely mugged everybody off and got to the final and got to Bayern. And I still don't know how they won the Champions League that year. You never know. Stranger things have happened. But, well, I mean, one of PSG and Real Madrid are going to be out. So it's one less side to worry about. Bayern struggled in the first leg. You know, if we ultimately be going through this round, we've beaten Atletico. So, I mean, yeah, probably get a bit ahead of ourselves. But I think so long as we, in these big games now, like the top of the team, we show enough to give us positivity for the rest of the season and next season, I'll be happy with that.
Right, we'll end on our predictions then, Chris. I think last week, we both said 1-1 Brighton, if I'm not correct, and we both got that right. It was 1-1, wasn't it, Brighton United?
No, it was 1. We won 2-0, didn't we?
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, that seems.
They're so used to being 1-1. Yeah,
it seems like so long ago, that Brighton game, but yeah. And then I think I said 3-1 Leeds. I can't remember what you said, but definitely.
I think I said 2-2 or something.
Yeah, you weren't far off then.
Yeah, so at one point I was on it, wasn't I? But
yeah. So we'll do this week's Atletico Madrid.
I've taken 0-0, to be honest. But I think we'll score. I mean, it's a shame away goals don't count, because I think we will go there and score. But I'd probably go 1-1. I can certainly see them scoring. Especially, you know, with the players they do have in those forward areas, they can score goals. But I think the way we played today, that will give us confidence going there and to get something. So I think we'll get a 1-1 draw to bring back to Old Trafford.
I was going to say 1-1 as well. However, I then thought, how many times have we gone 1-0 up and then it's ended up 1-1? But these Atletico Madrid are a lot better than the teams we've done that against. So I'm going to go 2-1 Real Madrid. Not Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid by that logic. I think Atletico, like you say, have got some incredible talents in their team. Yes, they're not doing great in this season in the league, but neither are we. So, I mean, you know, it's one of those where I think we'll probably go 1 up, actually, and I think we'll end up losing 2-1, and it'll go to Old Trafford. And you'll never know what will happen at Old Trafford on a European night, but anything could happen. Then we'll do predictions for Watford. Chris, what do you think for that one?
I'd like to think it's comfortable. I would like to think it's comfortable. Again, though, I think they'll score. I don't think we're great at keeping clean sheets. I think that's apparent. But we should have too much. I think 3-1. I think we'll break him down eventually, and then score a couple of late goals. Then 3-1.
I'm going to go 4-1. I'm going to go the nice little revenge. That's what they gave us at their place. So we're going to
that would be nice.
4-1 would be nice. I think I'm more doing that for the poetry aspect of it rather than the actual prediction. But we'll go with 4-1. Pleasure joining me, Chris. Thank you for joining me as per usual. Everyone, thank you for watching. If you have watched, make sure you go check out all the local TV channels. You'll have a local channel, watch Manchester. There'll be one in your area, Leeds. I think one for Bristol. there's also not football content out. They put other content out on their Facebook, on their Twitter, on their YouTube. So make sure you go check all that out as well. Atletico Madrid, the first European night in a long, long time. First knockout European Champions League fixture we've had in a while. No, we went out in the groups last time, so it's the first time we've seen knockout Champions League football for a long while. So I'm looking forward to it. I am, and hopefully it'll be a positive podcast next week. But knowing us, we'll lose both games, and it'll be a very dreary episode for next week's podcast. But we'll see you then, probably at a similar time. So make sure you're back on a Sunday night. It'll definitely be a Sunday night. What time? Who knows? But thank you all for joining, and good